Let's look through the papers this morning, and to do that with us is Public Affairs Analyst Shijibumi Adebi Bandit and political technocrat Dr. Dayo Kayode. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Today.
All right, let's head straight to the papers, and I begin with the first newspaper. Sacrilege. Kaduna bandits attack palace, abduct Emir, 85, one-year-old grandchild, 12 other family members. You find details of the story on the pages of the first newspaper. To the leadership newspaper now, panic as bandits kidnap Emir of Kajuru in Kaduna. You find as well details of the story on the pages of the leadership newspaper. All right, to the blueprint now. As Kaduna government's non-negotiation subsists, bandits abduct 85-year-old Emir, grandchildren, aids. Details of the story on the pages of the blueprint newspaper. To the Daily Independent now, airlines groan, fare may rise as Jet A1 climbs to 315 naira per litre. Airlines groan as fare may rise as Jet A1 climbs to 315 naira per litre. To the Business AM, IMF's $650 billion SDR holds lifeline for Nigeria's reserves debt trouble. IMF's $650 billion SDR holds lifeline for Nigeria's reserves debt troubles. Details of this on the pages of the Business AM. To the national economy now, World Bank projects $139 billion decline in GDP for Nigeria in 8 years, cites collapse of ecosystem services. World Bank projects $139 billion decline in GDP for Nigeria in 8 years. You find details of the story on the pages of the national economy. To the Business Day, find information blackout. That's the major headline there, saying this is what the National Assembly wants to achieve with the MPC and MBC Media Act amendment bills. It's not just against the media, it's about society's right to know, your right to be heard. Details of that on the pages of the Business Day, and you also find that on the front page of the Daily Sun. Now, moving to the Daily Sun, you find the same, talking about information blackout on the front page of the Daily Sun. We'll move to the Vanguard newspaper, and the major headline here says, PDP Ndume tango over transmission of polls results. Electronic transmission won't work in North, says Ali Ndume, opposes state police. PDP Kicks says poll results can be transmitted from anywhere in Nigeria. All right, to the News Direct now. 2020 loans, banks, customers clash over hike in interest rate, blame inflation, multiple risks on business, not banks. Analysts, CBN members call on orderly withdrawal of forbearance on restructured loans. Details of the story on the pages of the Nigerian News Direct. To the Guardian newspaper, COVID-19 dreaded Delta variant hits Oyo as Lagos slips into third wave. Dreaded Delta variant hits Oyo as Lagos slips into third wave. And to the Punch newspaper now, still talking COVID-19 third wave, states run out of vaccine, 9,057 travelers disappear. Kano exhausts 209,000 vaccine doses, increases surveillance at Aminu Kano Airport. Bed occupancy in Lagos isolation centers increased by 5% in 1 week. Somwolu. To the Daily Trust newspaper, COVID-19, Nigeria faces third wave as Lagos issues red alert. To the Nation newspaper, still talking COVID-19, Lagos COVID-19 third wave here. Surge in admission at isolation centers, protocols enforcement to return, Delta variant in Oyo. And to the Nigerian Tribune now, COVID-19, deadly Delta variant in Oyo, Lagos reactivates restriction protocols. Gentlemen, These are some of the major stories on the pages of the papers this morning. I will take the two major stories that we have seen on the papers this morning, talking about a third wave, looking at the dreaded Delta variant that has hit the country, and we have it in Oyo, and Lagos is said to have slipped into a third wave. And the government, through a statement yesterday, is, talking about imposing the COVID-19 protocols that were put in place, talking about 50% capacity for religious centers. When people go out, they should ensure that they wear their face masks. And as we already know, I believe we are following details of this COVID-19. This variant, Delta variant, is said to be more transmissible than what we have witnessed in the past 18 months. And I wonder how concerning this is for you, Dr. Diakayode.
Yes, you see, when I read the press release of the governor of Lagos State, His Excellency Sanwo-Olu, I think on Friday or so, what came to my mind immediately was, yes, there is COVID-19. There is a Delta variant, which some people are now saying is in the country,
It's in the country.
Which
has been confirmed.
Has been, confirmed. Have you seen it? No, it's what you are reading.
They did the test.
It's what you are reading. Were you there when the test was made?
Do we have to be there to believe?
Now the issue is.
Now this is shocking.
The issue is either the report or not. What lessons are we bringing from when it started? When this COVID-19 started, everybody should sit down at home, this and that. And even the palliative they're supposed to be given to people were all hidden somewhere. Because at the end of the day, they were all brought out from all those warehouses.
You do not believe there's a Delta variant?
I'm not saying I believe or not. But all I'm saying is what we have been hearing. It is what I have been hearing. Do you understand? But then I haven't heard that. And I haven't believed that, yes, because they are saying it, I too should believe it. What lessons are we bringing? What lessons are we bringing? Because at that time, you now find out that a lot of people were now stealing. We have incidences of robbery, insecurity in the country. Are we going to allow this one to be like that again? As much as you are asking people to get prepared for what is coming in future as regards this new variant, how are you also preparing to ensure that people conform? Because it is when you take care of the people that we make them to conform to your directives.
Now,
I'm telling you, look at this.
What lessons have the people learned from the COVID-19 experiences they have?
The lesson people learned,
where we saw people die as a result of this. Shouldn't we begin to talk about people taking responsibility? Do we have to wait for government for everything? That's my question.
Even as much as people took responsibility then, they were hungry. Palliative were being served some other places. The one that were meant for them, they found out that they were being kept inside warehouses. Those are the lessons they learned. And this time around, they will now want to look at it. Even either you ask us to stay at home or not, we want to be searching all those warehouses. Whether the palliative meant for us are still kept there. So the issue is the government. What I'm saying in essence is the government should try as much as possible and meet the people midway. Don't let people die because there are a lot of people that died out of hunger, not even from COVID during that period. A lot of people died from activities of marauders that went to their houses to kill them because they were hungry. So government should take all these things into consideration. Yes, as an opinion molder in my area, I've been telling them, look, this time around, this one is more deadly. Better start adjusting again. But the issue is, as much as some of us are also helping government in our own private ways to ensure people comply, government too should stand up to their responsibilities and ensure that people did not die of hunger, fear, and insecurity, even away from COVID-19.
All right, let's get your perspective to this, Shijibumi. What I am picking he's saying is the aspect of building trust with the people and government showing leadership this time around.
Yeah, and I was just laughing when Dr. Dakadi was speaking, because I understand his perspective. And if we don't really be patient enough to hear him out, you could
misinterpret
what he's saying. But I always look forward to being with him here every week. So I understand that. And the most important part of it is what I want to emphasize on, so that people don't misinterpret what he said. There is COVID-19, and this variant is deadlier. And for some of us, I'm a survivor. So for some of us that had passed through COVID, not the COVID that you will just get tested and you are positive, as in COVID and you are sick, you are bedridden, you will understand the pains and what it is like to go through that experience. So it's not something to joke about. Then this variant now, the other time, the two variants, symptoms. they were going really after older people, and the youths were kind of immune to that. But this is deadlier, because this one has, like, its focus is the youth, so it's really, really dangerous. And in as much as we have said all that to make sure that people trust government, and the government also engender trust, and it's also very important to note that what the government is trying to do is for us not to get to that stage of lockdown. So we're not talking about when we need palliatives now. We're trying to prevent a situation whereby we will get to lockdown and we need palliatives. Right. So that by the time we're all responsible, and I want to give it to the religious bodies, they've really tried. 80% of them. When you go to different churches every Sunday, and maybe mosque as well, because it's where I went to that I can really talk about. Yeah. You will see that there was no time that they relaxed. Even schools, they didn't relax. So some schools. It's just us business people, market people that have been going around as if this thing has left us completely. So what the government is doing is, please let us start again. Let us the procedures, and we don't need to be watching all these committees that the SGF has to come on TV to churn out results and all these updates to us. Let us take responsibility by ourselves individually. Face masks, washing of hands, then make sure that all the population restrictions, we adhere to them.
Because this time around, the Delta variant, as reports put it, does not show the same kind of symptoms we saw in the previous variant.
And you see, another thing that also pricked my mind when I was reading about that Delta variant. I read that this Delta variant is being targeted. That was the language used. Targeted at the youth. Who is targeting the youth?
And why?
And why are they targeting the youth? They found out that the last one, they were being immune against it, but now they're now saying targeting. I mean, when I read it, I underlined it. Targeting the youth.
Where did you read it from?
From the papers. From the papers.
Nigeria here.
Sure. Even those messages that were sent from abroad, even the one that was that was being sent out by even medical practitioners, is targeting the youth. Why? Who are the people targeting the youth? Right. So that means, honestly speaking, there's an alibi somewhere which needs to be unraveled. It breaks my mind. Why should he target the youth? It's up anyway.
These are the conspiracies that a lot of people want.
I don't even want to use that conspiracy now, because my brother will now be saying conspiracy theory always. I don't want to use that conspiracy. But he also used that word. Targeting the youth. Why targeting the youth? Who are the people targeting the youth? Why?
Okay, maybe he would have said susceptible.
Well,
the youth are susceptible to this variant.
But targeting has been the word being used. Okay. Go and read most of those releases.
Fine. Fine. Let's quickly move forward now to another story. And this time around, we'll be looking at the incident in Kaduna, where we saw the Emir of Kajuru was abducted, an 85-year-old Emir. He was abducted alongside some of his family members, a 1-year-old grandchild and 12 other family members. And a lot of reactions has come as a result of this recent incident. A paper said that as Kaduna government's non-negotiation subsists, bandits have now abducted an 85-year-old Emir. And it seems a lot of persons are wondering if this will force the hand of the government to change its stance with regards to this non-negotiation thing. But then there are a group have been put together to, ensure that they get the Emir returned. There is a search going on, investigation, I think, as well, going on. And some persons, in one of the papers this morning, I read a statement coming from a particular person saying that this is an expensive joke. And I'm wondering if this has been a joke all the while, why this person, an Emir, is now becoming an expensive joke. So what has been, is this how we have been seeing things? I'm wondering. But then let's get your reaction, gentlemen.
You see, let me say it is a joke, too, taken too far. Now, when I read this, it happened on Thursday or Friday. My man first of all came to my brother, who was celebrating the last time we were here, that no issue of abduction in the papers and this and that. I said, okay, maybe probably because he had said that, they said, okay, you are celebrating, Abi, we will show you again. Maybe that's why this one is coming from. But then, three things need be done. Number one, there was a time Gumi said is the one that is going in between the bandits and the government. We also need to call another cleric.
Who is that?
To call another cleric to this particular platform to come and talk as regards an Islamic cleric saying that government should be paying bandits, and that is Professor Ishaq. The founder.
With that?
No, he told Murik, you need to call Ishaq, Professor Akintola Ishaq. I have met him once on this particular issue. Akinola Ishaq, you need to call him and let people hear him out. When you call him and people hear him out, then they will be able to adjudge my next point, which is, I said it also here, Sheikh Gumi needs to be detained and then ask him questions. Press in my Ekiti, they will say that is press his stomach properly to get information from him as regards these bandits.
Why Gumi? Because Gumi is not the focus here now.
Listen, either Gumi, is it not about abduction?
Yes.
Who are the people abducting? Who is Gumi saying should be settled by the government? So why should he not be part of it? He's part of it. Because we need not cutting the, I've been saying it, we need not be cutting the elephant grass on top. We have to uproot it. For us to uproot it, they have to interrogate Gumi. They also have to call Governor Rufai. Because he had one way or the other said it, that he went to Chad to go and settle the bandits. Who are the bandits that he settled? 3. They also need to call this Baraje, the leader of PDP, to come and expatiate. And one is said that during the first election
2015
of 2015, he won APC as regards some issues. So let him come and expand. Let him expatiate on that statement and then come up with names. So when they come up with names, they will be able to know how to direct our arsenals towards sorting this issue. And lastly on it, I wonder what the federal government is doing now. Because if you can deploy such effort to arrest Nnamdi Kanu, who was outside the country, if you can deploy all those Asna to go to Sunday Igboho's house and all that, so why can't you? We need only one drone, my dear. We need only one drone to move around that south, northeast, northwest, and all that. You will locate all those areas and bombard them out of the country.
Right. And
then we'll be able to have peace. Okay. These are the truth and nothing but the truth.
Let's get Shijibomi's perspective. I wonder if you're on the same side of the fence with Dr. Kayode.
No, we're always on the same side when it comes to security, because no matter how we try to deliberate or talk about the issues, the solution is we need security. So on that, all of us are always on the same page. When it comes to this issue of abducting Emir now, it's just like the saying, the chicken is coming home to roost. These people will always look for soft targets, schools, vulnerable people, IDPs, and in that kind of settlement.
But an Emir?
An Emir is just like, an Emir is different from an Emir. Okay. If we understand.
But he's supposed to be respected, revered to an extent.
To a large extent, not to some, to a large extent.
Let me give you an example. 3 months ago, Anoba was kidnapped after Ijebugo. Second quarter of this year, 2 monarchs were kidnapped in Ekiti. Was that not giving you a pointer to what is starting to happen? When it's about the big cities, that's why I said an Emir is different from an Emir. An Oba is different from an Oba.
Definitely.
So the kind of security someone from, I don't want to mention towns now, someone from an urban area we have is different from someone from the suburb we have. But they are both Emirs. They are both Obas. So these people will always look for soft targets. And what baffles me is the fact that we are still talking about the issues, this person's responsibilities, this person not doing enough, and we're not getting to the solution. The best and most important resource of any nation is the people. So, and the people, if you want development in any aspect of that nation, you have to involve the people, because they are your best resource. So how have we been involving our people in terms of security, education, economy? That's the issue. So when you don't involve them, you will have problems. We're talking about state police. Nobody wants to hear that. The most difficult thing for this nation is change. Once we get involved in a transition and we start something, we just get fixated on that. We don't want to change and look for another approach. So when we're talking about this, I'm not a prophet of doom. This will continue to happen until we get the security architecture right. There has to be policing at the level of local government and state.
Right.
So if you continue to move soldiers to that place, if you continue to move mobile policemen to that place, they will go there, do the work they're supposed to do, and get back. And the problem will persist.
Sorry, before about the people, it's not that people are not ready. People are really doing that insecurity. But we are talking of complicity of the leaders. And that's why I said Baraja should be called to expatiate on that. Yes, so that I'm able to know.
Questions.
Yeah, not even to speak more on what he told us about the.
Yes, that's what you're saying.
Yes.
All right, we have to leave the conversation here, gentlemen. Public affairs analyst Shijibomi Adebiyi Bennett and political technocrat Dr. Dayo Kayode. Thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having me.